What up, boxing world? JF Sports. Oscar De La Hoya said that David Lemieux will knock out Gennady Golovkin in 5 rounds. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my thoughts on this. Well, you guys already know there's a Canelo Cotto, Canelo Golovkin, Cotto Golovkin triangle theory, so to speak, and obviously Oscar De La Hoya is favor of Canelo because that's his guy, you know what I mean? But it seems to me that De La Hoya doesn't want Canelo to fight Golovkin. Is it possible that Oscar De La Hoya is a little afraid of Canelo fighting Golovkin? I'm not saying that Canelo is afraid of Golovkin. That's not what I'm saying. Because I know, and you guys know, Canelo fight anybody. It doesn't matter. But I don't know, man. You know, Oscar De La Hoya said that, you know, Golovkin will be knocked out by Lemieux. It almost seems to me like he doesn't want freaking Canelo to fight Golovkin. You know, is he afraid that Canelo gonna lose to Golovkin? I mean, is that possible? I don't know. But with those kind of statements, obviously he's favoring Lemieux to win against Golovkin. Not just win, not just a unanimous decision, majority. No, a knockout. A guy that hasn't been down nor lost in his whole career. Gennady Golovkin. You know, do you think Lemieux is just gonna go out there, go through to Gennady Golovkin like it's easy work? That's what really it's all about. That's what De La Hoya is saying, that Gennady Golovkin is easy work. I mean, if you predict somebody to get knocked out in 5 rounds, so you're saying he could be knocked out in the first, second, third, fourth, or 5th round, right? So it seems to me that De La Hoya is saying that Gennady Golovkin is easy work for Lemieux. You know, well, I'm not knocking De La Hoya for having an opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but to say those kind of statements, you know, raise some eyebrows to some fans like, what the heck? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I understand something like, you know, he might be able to knock him down, you know, or Lemieux might win via unanimous decision or majority decision or split decision, some of those nature. But, you know, for Gennady Golovkin to be actually knocked out within 5 rounds, it's not impossible, but it's a long shot. You know, like I said, it seems to me like De La Hoya doesn't want Golovkin to fight Canelo because, as we all know, if Gennady Golovkin loses to Lemieux, then there goes pretty much the fight. That gives De La Hoya a reason not to match Canelo with Golovkin. If anything, he'd match Canelo with David Lemieux, right? And we have Cotto Canelo at the moment, but that's the fight that everybody wanted. So De La Hoya doesn't really, you know, have any opposition to that match, you know. But he said some things, man. He said De La Hoya expects Lemieux to get Golovkin's chin by 5th round. De La Hoya thinks it's a fight where the 26-year-old Lemieux will get to Golovkin early. De La Hoya also thinks that his other important fight between his fighter Canelo and the WBC middleweight champion Cotto will be just as exciting. So he's saying that the Golovkin versus Lemieux and Cotto versus Canelo is the same fight. It's going to be the same exciting fight. Now, you know, some people might disagree and argue that David Lemieux and Golovkin's fight is not going to be nowhere near Cotto Canelo, but that's his opinion, right? He said that Canelo will beat Cotto possibly on the 10th round. He sees Canelo getting a stoppage on the 10th round by Canelo. Now, he said that the difference is one is going to be longer. And he's talking about Canelo and Cotto. The other one, Golovkin Lemieux, might last 3, 4, or only 5 rounds. And he said he got Lemieux knocking out Golovkin. So I know Lemieux is motivated, than ever about this fight because he's fighting somebody that's undefeated, make a lot of noise in the sport of boxing at the moment, and a title holder, champion, let's just say it all. So if Lemieux does beat Golovkin, whether it's a knockout or a decision, he makes history, right? Be the first one to beat Golovkin. But I don't see it. I try to picture this in my mind over and over about Lemieux actually knocking out, not knocked down, knocking out Golovkin, as De La Hoya said. That's a very long shot. You know what I mean? If La Hoya would put $1 million on that, I guarantee he wouldn't do it. If somebody bet him $1 million for Lemieux to beat Golovkin by a knockout within 5 rounds, I bet you he wouldn't do it. I mean, like I said, everybody could have their opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion, but to go on the record saying that, it's almost, to me, seems like he doesn't want Canelo to fight Golovkin. Because if Golovkin wins against Lemieux and Canelo wins against Cotto, guess what? It's almost a mandatory for Canelo to fight Golovkin next, unless Cotto demands a rematch and Canelo affords him that opportunity. And we all know it's not just Canelo, because Canelo, like I said, Canelo fight anybody, it doesn't matter. But also De La Hoya gonna have pretty much the final say whether the fight will happen between Canelo and Golovkin, or Canelo or Lemieux, if for that matter, right? So I don't know, man. I thought that was very interesting how De La Hoya put that in perspective, that Lemieux will just pretty much walk to Golovkin, within 5 rounds and knock him out. Like I said, I don't know. I don't think that Golovkin is the best ever. I don't think that Golovkin is unbeatable. I never said that. But man, the guy is undefeated and that much high percentage knockout for a reason. It's not like Golovkin is fighting somebody that's also undefeated with a similar resume. Even though I know Lemieux, like I said, is motivated and very dedicated to win the fight, but we know that resumes speak for themselves, and Lemieux's resume versus Golovkin, it's not similar. It's not the same, I mean, Lemieux's been knocked out, man. I'm sorry to say that, but shit happens. You have been knocked out. You have already shown the world that you are capable of being knocked out. I'm sorry to say that, but it is the truth. Like to me, man, it really seems to me that De La Hoya doesn't want Canelo to fight Golovkin next. If anything, he wants Canelo to fight Lemieux, or a rematch with Miguel Cotto. I think De La Hoya would rather have Cotto fight Golovkin before Canelo fights Golovkin, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's still up in the air, of what's going to happen, obviously, because we haven't seen the fight. But we are going to see Golovkin versus Lemieux first, prior to Canelo versus Cotto. Now, like I said, very interesting, because if David Lemieux and Golovkin fights coming October 17th, and Golovkin happened to win that fight, then, like I said, man, it's almost a mandatory, almost, not 100%, almost a mandatory for Golovkin to fight the winner of the Cotto versus Canelo, right? And if Canelo wins that fight against Cotto, guess what? Then people will demand Canelo versus Golovkin. So what is Oscar De La Hoya gonna do then? Like I said, I have no doubt that Canelo will fight Golovkin. I'm not saying that he's afraid of him. I never said that. Canelo will fight anybody. It doesn't matter. But and Cotto, on the other hand, Cotto, that would be a 50-50. You know what I mean? Cotto, I don't think necessarily that he would just agree to fight Golovkin if he happens to win against Canelo. He's just not gonna sign a contract. Yeah, okay, I'm done with Canelo now. I'm gonna fight Golovkin next. That's gonna be a very, very big decision for Cotto. And some people are actually saying that Cotto's acting like a diva lately. So I don't know, man. I don't know if Cotto is gonna take that fight if he wins the fight against Canelo. But like I said, that's 50-50. I think Miguel Cotto would, even if he wins against Canelo, I think he'd rather have a rematch, another one against Canelo, rather than fighting Gennady Golovkin right away. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just my opinion. Like I said, that's just how I see these fights are going. And like I said before, my predictions and my thoughts, it ain't gonna be an explosive, big drama show fight as people think it is with the Golovkin versus Lemieux. I just don't think so. I try to play this over in my head, and I just don't see it. I don't see it. But I'm only human, just like you guys. I got my predictions. I got my thoughts and opinions and shit, and I could be wrong. But like I said, I just don't. I just think that De La Hoya is trying to avoid Canelo fighting Golovkin. Don't know why, but that's what it's coming out as. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thanks for watching JF Sports.